Well, would you look who it is. So, something happened on this game that actually made me want to make a video again, so here I am. But no, the last time I made a video was a little over a month ago. Last time I finished editing one anyway, and that was the, 30 days video that I posted previously, which 3.5 hour long video, that's like a whole commitment and a half if you're gonna end up watching that, and it took me out completely from making videos, so hence the long moment of inactivity there, kind of. Also, I just got pretty sick as well and was on a trip, so I wasn't able to make this video that could have been potentially out earlier this month. And it wasn't like, oh, I was just feeling like a little under the weather, like I couldn't speak type of thing. I'll play a clip here because I actually did try to record while sick just to prove a point.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's me. I sound terrible. This is actually worse than what I sounded like yesterday. I'm actually like pretty limited on what I can do right now. My voice yesterday kind of sounded like this without like dropping between words.
Yep, that's how I sounded. So, didn't really want to make the video sounding like that. The whole point of being the Animal Jam YouTuber, you kind of have to speak. It's not 2012 anymore. I couldn't just type and have non-copyright music playing in the background over Screencast-O-Matic. Anyway, this does fit into today because I potentially could have made this video a few days ago, but I figured I'd just wait until the actual thing came out. And it's Wild Weekend. Here we go. So Wild Weekend here, Elvish Ensemble. Hidden new variants of the elf armor have appeared in the Diamond Shop, guys. Whoa. Only available this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday, of course. So, some of the variants here, you're probably gonna be turning your head at maybe a little bit. Specifically the ones on this side, actually. And, people are probably very split about them doing this. Okay, I'll just talk about this while buying them up here, but pretty much here we have more recolors of the elf armor, which I love. Me being probably the biggest elf series fan in the game, it's part of my main look. I own every elf variant in the game, of course, because it's just my favorite item, of course. However, there is some variants to the elf series that, aren't really accessible by most people, or they're a little bit harder to get. Obviously, we have the beta tails that, fetch a little pretty penny, of course, but also stuff like the beta elf helmet, which is among some of the rarest items in the game that are very low quantity in the game, and as the years go on, it does seem like less and less of them exist, purely because most people that own them end up getting banned with them. Let's be real. I'm not pointing any fingers. I'm just saying that most people that end up owning that item end up hacking, scamming, or selling items and eventually get banned because of it. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. That being said, stuff like those variants where the tails specifically here we have haven't been available since I think it was like 2011 or 2012, since it wasn't available in the monthly member gift. And then stuff like the beta elf helmet wasn't available since elf helmets were originally sold all the way back in 2011 or 2012. So yeah, it's been a while to say the least since these were available to players, right? But also all of these items are extremely rare. Now, before I kind of talk about like why this is a kind of controversial decision on Animal Jam's end, talk about why it's happened to the original beta elf tails. They now don a rare tag on them, pretty much. So if you have any of these, you'll probably have noticed that there is now a rare tag on them, and there has been for the last few weeks, I'm pretty sure. But as for the beta elf helmet, that does not don a rare tag because pretty much I don't have one on this account, but I have some of the original ones here anyway. It's a variant of the original elf helmet, so if they were pretty much going to give the beta elf a rare tag, they would have to give all of these other ones a rare tag as well. That's just how the item works. It's a variant of this item ID, essentially, which all of these are still available if they're in adventures, I'm pretty sure. So unless they took them out of the prize pool, they're not going to give these a rare tag. Now, there is like a noticeable enough difference in a lot of these. The sandy elf tail and the leafy elf tail, these are kind of extremely similar to the tan and green and blue elf tail armors, and then obviously the green and blue leafy elf helmet here is similar to the beta elf helmet. Now, if you were to put them all next to each other here, you can easily discern the difference, of course. However, maybe on first glance, it might catch your eye, be like, oh, is that a beta elf or is that a beta elf tail? And then you'd have to do another look and you'd be like, oh no, it's not. It's the Wild Weekend versions. Now, this is a topic of discussion I wanted to talk about because it kind of has some controversy to it, of course. People that owned these original versions of these items essentially are now kind of put in a weird place again. It's not the first time Animal Jam has done something like this, and I will discuss that a little bit later. But when Animal Jam does something like this, it kind of negates the point of trying to get the original versions of the item, if that makes sense. Like, what is the point of getting a beta elf helmet if you can just buy this leafy elf helmet version for 4 diamonds right now? Unless you really care about the subtle hue difference in the items, there really isn't too much of a point to kind of go ahead and grab those, essentially. The same thing can be said with the tail armors as well, that are extremely similar to already existing variants. And as I said, it's not the first time Animaljam has done something like this. They've done this numerous times with items where they will subtly recolor them and re-release them like this. But there's also times where they have just flat out re-released items, you know, one-to-one, kind of ignoring the fact if the item had any kind of worth from it. First thing that comes to mind is the toilet. Last year they did that. Or even something like a lot of the unreleased promos they did. Something that comes to mind is the heart pendant or like the spiked amulet, where they re-released these in Jamalde season, and they gave the original versions a rare tag. Pretty much exactly the same item, except one has a rare tag on it and one doesn't have a tag on it. It's really dumb in my opinion. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I've made a whole video talking about times Animaljam has done like stupid stuff like that, where they re-released items and just gave the original one a rare tag or a diamond tag or something like that. But next I want to talk about like a little bit why Animaljam even does these kind of things in the first place, because a lot of people get confused a lot of the time. They're like, oh, Animaljam's ruining the rarity system, or they're trying to take control of the economy. And while yes, Animaljam does try to do that sometimes, there is another reason why they end up doing this in the first place. And no, it's not just to mess with people and their worth, at least not a lot of the time. I'm not gonna lie, Animaljam, you've definitely done that before intentionally. I know you have. But a lot of time why Animaljam even does this in the first place is because, kind of why I said at the start of the video, these variants of items haven't really been available for legit over a decade at this point. Maybe even closer to 2 decades, which is kind of crazy actually. Obviously this purple version is just like a continuation of the purple tail armor, which I think was pretty cool. I wish they kind of made a 4th set for the white version. That would have been nice, Animaljam. Might want to get on that. Anyway, but stuff like the beta tails here and the helmet, they haven't been available in so long through ordinary means where you could just go buy them in the shop, or you know, they are not costing you an arm and a leg just to get, and taking hundreds of hours of trading. You know, it is just available for players that kind of missed out on the first time around that they were available. And for something like this, it's kind of similar to the Phantom Emporium they've been doing for the last few months, where they return old items into stores, where they will just flat out re-release them into stores, but they'll have like a diamond markup on the price, where it'll be more expensive for when they were originally in stores or whatever. You know, the last time I heard about the Phantom Emporium, or looked into it anyway, was last month when I made a video on it, talking about, I think it was sparkly boas came back into it, and they were more expensive obviously than they were originally released for, because they were originally released for gems. And I think the alpha training mat, which I'll actually talk about here in a second as well, because something interesting happened regarding that. Sparkling boa, of course, you know, it was a well popular item, and it bummed a lot of people out, especially a lot of people that had the complete set of the item. Obviously it bummed them out that it's just getting flat out re-released, and it's not going to retain the value it used to hold, even if it's sold at like a slightly higher markup in diamond price. It's still gonna, you know, not be worth as much as it used to be. And why would it? You know, it's being re-released. Anybody can get it anymore. Pretty much anyone can get it now. So they're not gonna be willing to trade the prices it used to be worth. But like stuff like that, like everybody wanted the sparkling boa, and they were just kind of increasing in worth and worth and worth, where Animaljam, I guess, decided to put them into the Phantom Emporium. I don't really know what their kind of criteria is in choosing items for the Phantom Emporium, or even like re-releasing items like in the Wild Weekend. I'm not too sure what their criteria is. Maybe it is requests from people. I don't really know, but obviously there was a mixed opinion on that. And then stuff like the alpha training mat, I keep forgetting what it's called. They were going to re-release that, and honestly, you know, it is a bummer. You know, the item was worth it quite a bit, and I'm pretty sure it still is now, because they didn't end up releasing it into the Phantom Emporium. They changed it. I don't remember what they changed it to instead, but they didn't end up releasing that item in there. I don't know why. There was a lot of kind of backlash regarding it, that and the sparkly boa. I don't know why they only chose to not release the training mat though. I don't know if there was like some kind of maybe licensing conflicts there or something, because it was a promo item at some point. I don't know. Don't ask me. Maybe Animaljam did finally crack under pressure sure, because a lot of people complained about it. I don't know. But if that is what happened, maybe complain more, because that'll cause them to crack even more, I guess. Maybe. I don't I don't know. By the way, a lot of the reason why Animal Jam does re-release these items is purely because a lot of players that used to play the game, or I should say a lot of the players that didn't play the game when these were available, missed out on them, and they don't want to have to spend hundreds of hours trading or even potentially buying these items, because unfortunately for Animal Jam, there is a extremely long road if you want to garner worth on this game, purely because, you know, adventures are skewed. You can't get spikes anymore, which is like the main measurement of worth in this game, and a key stepping stone if you want to build up worth. So you're gonna have to do like mostly everything through like my shops and grinding those, and then, you know, trading the diamonds into, you know, items worth more and stuff. It's just an extremely tedious process that a lot of people just end up skipping and just end up buying items as well, which the economy has become so reliant on as well. So I'm not surprised that Animal Jam wants to do more to kind of negate that, and then take items that were worth you know, a decent amount for so long and make them more accessible to players. I think a lot of people forget that a lot of the people that play the game now, not a lot of them have been playing the game for a long time, or at least like not over like, I don't know, maybe 5 years. You know, yours truly has been playing this game almost 16 years, probably 16 years too long, if we're being honest here. But not everybody is going to be like me, where they're going to be playing the game and see all of these items actually be released when they originally were released. A lot of players that, you know, have only started playing the game recently in the last few years, or people that had to start fresh and came back to the game because their original accounts got compromised or deleted or whatever, having to start fresh essentially with no items, and wanting to get these items that they might have originally had. As I said, it ties back into like the extremely tedious route of having to get worth, which I know a lot of people that kind of own these items that end up getting affected by these re-releases or reskins or whatever you want to call them. They're gonna have a differing opinion, or they're still gonna have issue with that, of course, but like that's just the reason why Animal Jam mostly does it. But I mean, as for my opinion, as someone who's owned like pretty much every item that kind of has been affected by this, you know, I own elves and I own beta tails, and even previously last month I've owned the whole sparkling boa set. I've owned alpha training mats. So as someone who is affected by this, I don't really care too much anymore. Then again, I am 22 years old, so Animal Jam worth being altered does not really cause me to have an aneurysm anymore. Although I understand why people that do own these items as well are going to be a little bit slighted by it. It's only natural to be, because a lot of these people that, you know, put their time and effort into trading for these items, or even, you know, if they took the item buying route, actual money, spending actual money on some of these items, they're pretty much out of pocket now. And I don't think Animal Jam really, I don't think they care. Honestly, I don't think they do. I think they're mainly focusing on the players who don't have the items and are going to be more happy with it than the slightly less amount of players that do have these items that are going to be slighted about it. Either way, I think my opinion on this is like, yeah, I think it's kind of silly when they do this. I would rather new variants of items, specifically, but also I think it's cool that they're kind of, you know, referencing something like the beta elf helmet with this, because it's like the first time I think they've officially even realized it since they put it in stores the very first time around. Kind of does open the question if they're going to end up doing this for the other items in the extreme items series, because it is a part of the kind of extreme items, even though it's worth a lot less than it used to be. You know, stuff like the beta eye, the beta creature, and the two beta tiaras, the pearly and milky. I kind of wonder, are they gonna, you know, maybe do something where they release like similar variants to those, because that would be pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, I'm interested to see what they do for the next Wild Weekends, but I think that's pretty much it I wanted to talk about here. Well, a big thank you to the member crew of the channel for supporting yours truly in my kind of month of inactivity, of course. We'll have a new member video out probably like tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. But if you want to support the channel and me, get some bonus perks, bonus videos, and your name here at the end, and hit the join button down below. It's greatly appreciated. But yeah, as I said, that'll do it for me here. You'll see me when you'll see me. I'm not going to promise a video sometime soon, because I don't even know what my next video is going to be. I've just been caught in a rut. I need to get back in the swing of things. I know I do. I do have some ideas, but I just don't know what I'm going to do next, because, you know, it's usually like, I feel like doing the video type of thing. That's when I do it. I don't want to force myself to do it type of thing. You get me? All right, enough of the app. I'll catch you guys whenever. Okay, who knows? It might be sooner than later if Animal Jam, you know, messes up again. So fingers crossed, it'll be a video for me. Okay, bye bye.